Toastmasters in the kitchen provides a supportive and positive learning experience. Build confidence, communication, and leadership skills while exploring the world of food and cooking.
We know how much I love Asian cooking, and I just want to point out that these sauces are very integral to Asian cooking, but it's not the only place where they're useful. So they have many uses for whatever cuisine that you choose to cook. So we're just going to touch on something salty, something spicy, something with umami. We always need that umami. And these sauces also are designed to give you that harmonious that we're always looking for, sweet, salty, bitter, sour, umami. So what's things that you want to think about when you're cooking your meals and you're doing your taste testing? What extra does this dish need to pop? So these are very cultural, and as you go across the different regions of Asia, obviously they're going to have a little different product. Everybody has soy sauce, but you have Japanese soy sauce, you have Chinese soy sauce. Fish sauce is different between Vietnam and Japan or China. It's going to be brewed a little bit different. Some will be brewed longer. They'll use different barrels. They use different fish. So it really depends. Everything that you try depends on the region that you're in. And most of us use soy sauce. We only know the ones that we get in the regular grocery store. Those are not the premium soy sauces. Okay. Those are bottom, sometimes middle of the road. But there are premium soy sauces that are not salty. Some are sweet, some are thicker. It just varies by region and the way that they do things and the traditions. Even people in Asia that make their own soy sauce or their own fish sauce will do it differently. And it's going to taste a lot different than what you would get that's commercially available. There's a difference between East Asia, Southeast Asia, and South. So when you think about South Asian, you're looking at India. They got a lot of chutneys, a lot of pickles called achar. Those are super salty and sour. We get into East Asian sauces, you're getting a lot of fermentation, you're getting a lot of umami out of these sauces. And then we go to Southeast Asia, is where you're going to find most of the fish sauce and the chili paste, the spicy. That's where you're going to find the spicy, which is the region that I love the most because I'm really, really into spice. Let's talk about soy sauces. They look different, they taste different. The viscosity is different, the color is different. Even if a soy sauce looks the same, it has different properties. So they make a soy sauce, the Korean soy sauce, that's specifically for adding to soups. And the reason being is it doesn't change the color of your soup or make it darker. It doesn't permeate your soup and overtake it. It's a lighter soy sauce. It's brewed less, and you just put a little bit in your soup for that soy sauce taste. When you're looking at Japanese soy sauce, that is going to be a lot of your premium sauces if you can find them here. And you have different types of soy. You got sweet soy, you got soup soy, you got premium soy, you got some that's been brewed for 9 years. You know, it takes on different vibes. You also have tamari, which is a wheat-free, a gluten-free version. So when you're looking at soy sauces, and especially with fish sauce, people taste it once and decide they don't like it. All fish sauce is not equal. The one that we get in the store here is called Red Boat. I personally do not like that one. It just tastes like all salt. But the three crabs, I tasted the three crabs. I'm like, oh, this is good. To me, that's a more balanced flavor. It still smells fishy, but it's more balanced flavor. And it adds to the dish. It enhances the dish. So you really got to do a lot of trial and error when you're going through things like soy sauce, fish sauce, which ones that you really like. In Korea, gochujang and dobaejang are the sauces or the paste that permeate their entire culinary traditions. Um, it's a very fermented, one's fermented chili paste, one's fermented soybean paste, kind of like miso. And you will see it used in pretty much everything, along with a little soy sauce, along with, there's not that much fish sauce in Korea, but these things by themselves are great. When you level them up and stack your flavors, it's even better. And that's something that if you're not accustomed to Chinese dishes, you have to learn by experience. Hold on a minute. Alexa, stop. Damn her. Here we're talking about soy sauce. You got light, dark, sweet. You got tamari. You get premium. Remember we were talking about balsamic, aged balsamic, this aged for 9 years. You have some aged soy sauce as well. And the way that they age it, the barrels that they use, the techniques that they use is all going to be different. So the soy sauces are going to taste different. I right now have a sweet soy sauce that I'm loving because I love all things sweet, but I do have to balance that with a regular premium dark soy so that I can get that evenness in that, the sweet and the salty. Tamari is what I was using when I was trying to do my elimination diet. You can use tamari. If you can't find that, you can find Bragg's liquid coconut aminos. It's vegan soy sauce, basically, made with coconut. It tastes smoky, but that's another alternative to soy sauce that just adds a little extra flavor to your food. When you're using soy, please don't use salt with it. Okay. Taste as you go because soy brings the saltiness. So you don't want everything to be super salty. Soy sauce is used in a myriad of different ways. It's always on the table. You can add it to your rice, you can add it to your fish. Done. You make dipping sauces with it when you're doing your gyoza or your bao. Dip it in soy sauce, a little vinegar, a little chili. It makes blends with stir fry sauce. It adds that saltiness with the sweetness of the sauce. Again, balance everything. It's also used as a marinade. I believe, this is my personal opinion, if you're going to use soy sauce as a marinade, don't do it overnight because whatever you're marinating in it is going to become very salty and you cannot pull that out. A couple of hours at best if you're going to use it. And if you're marinating fish, 30 minutes. You really need to be careful with over salting with soy sauce because each brand is different. Each brand is going to be a little bit saltier than the next, and you need to be careful with that. Is my personal opinion. Again, the variety of different tastes, different viscosity. Some a little thicker, some are thinner. You got to balance the taste. If you have a really salty soy, you're either going to need to add some sugar or add a sauce that has sugar in it, something with sweetness, so you get that evenness in there. Fish sauce. I used to hate fish sauce. Now I love it. There's a non-pluck Thai dipping sauce that has fish sauce, lime, a little soy, a little sugar, and some chilies. Love it. Love it. It goes good on everything. You could put it on a flip-flop, and I would absolutely love it. So fish sauce is different. It's caused by fermenting fish. Normally, it's anchovies. Not always. Different regions can use different fishes depending on what's readily available in their area. It's usually a small fish, though. Anchovies, mackerel, what's the other ones? I can't think of it right now. Sardines. So it's usually a smaller fish that they put in a tank and they put some salt in and they just allow it to ferment until it becomes what they want it to be. And it's not going to be the same between Vietnam, Thailand. I haven't used the Cambodian fish sauce yet, but they all have their own special, unique flavor. And it's going to take a little bit of trial and error for you to find one that you really like. but it does add a lot of depth of flavor to whatever you're using it in. If you're making a soup, add a little bit fish sauce, it lifts your soup. I have used it in beans. I love bean soup. I use a little fish sauce in there. If you need to make a vinaigrette, fish sauce. You can make a fish sauce vinaigrette with some chiles, some rice vinegar. When you mix all that together, it's lovely. A Tom is one of my favorite salads. It's a green, you actually get a green papaya, and it's not an unripe papaya. It just grows that way. And they shred it, and they mix it with dried shrimp, tomatoes, sometimes fresh green beans, a whole lot of chilies. And it's the most refreshing salad ever. I will always get that when I'm getting on the menu. Pho has a little bit of fish sauce. Pho broth takes at least 24 hours to make. And so the fish sauce, you don't always get that depending on if they add it last or if they're brewing it in there the whole 24 hours. I've never had Cambodian yet, but I strive to get there. Fish sauce diluted with water, lime juice, or rice vinegar is what you want to do. Using it straight is something I would do if I was adding it to a soup or to a meat dish. You can use it straight. It's very, very potent, very potent. So it needs the sweetener to balance it out. And when you're using any kind of fish sauce, I'm just gonna say one drop at a time. One drop taste. Red Boat, literally anything I've ever used with Red Boat, one drop does it all. Doesn't care how big the dish is. It's so incredibly salty. My three crabs, I can put a whole tablespoon. Love that stuff because it's very smooth. And it took me a while to find one that I like. Oh, we getting into the good stuff, chili sauces. Everybody knows sriracha and gochujang. Do you know sambal olik? Sambal olik is chiles and garlic. It's usually fresh, and they just ground it up together. That's how they serve it. It's actually very refreshing. It's delicious. You can buy it in the Asian grocery store, and we use it on everything. Every dish you make, you can use it. It makes rich. We mix it with scrambled eggs. It just makes your scrambled eggs so much better. I would urge you to try different chili sauces, particularly people that are spice resistant. Sambal alik, even though the way it looks very, very spicy, it's not. I could be subjective, I know, but it's really not. It's very fresh and refreshing, and it just adds so much acid to your meal that lifts it up so it's not boring. You can get chili crisp. Uh, Logoma is the most famous of the chili crisp. I don't find it spicy. Other people do. It goes on everything. A little rice, a little chili crisp, some fried garlic, a fried egg. Perfect meal. You can make your own chili crisp as well. You can use it as a dipping sauce for your gyoza and your bao. If you like ramen, mix a little chili sauce or sambal leek in there. It just enhances that dish so much. People that make their own barbecue sauces, you want to think about adding either gochujang, sriracha, or sambal leek. It's going to take your barbecue sauce to the next level. When we're looking at these chili pastes, obviously they're going to have different levels of heat based on which chili you're using, based on if it's cooked or not. Another trial and error. But if you're getting chiles from Sichuan, it looks so fiery. It's actually not. It hits you on the back and your throat, and it creates a numbing effect on your lips. And it actually makes you want to eat more and more. Versus when you go to Korea, when boiled out, they have boiled ramen. Korean spicy is off the charts spicy. Think if you've ever had scorpion pepper. That's what Korean spicy tastes like to me. I love my spicy. Korean spicy is too much for me, and that's saying something. So it's all about trial and error, depending on what chili they use. In Southeast Asia, there's a lot of red chilies, a lot of red sauce. A little bit of green chilies used, but they use those fresh typically. You don't find those blended up unless they're blending it into a green curry. They usually use the red chilies for everything. Different sauces. Hoisin sauce is like, I've heard it called Chinese ketchup. It's thick and sweet. And I personally have used it in place of ketchup on meatloaf. It's used in stir fry sauces. It actually adds a very sweet quality to your meal. So you don't need a lot because it is sweet. But when you mix it with things like soy sauce or chili paste, it adds that balance. Dobuljang is a Korean spicy, not spicy, fermented beans paste. It reminds you of Japanese miso, is what dobuljang is. It's used a lot in soups. If you mix dobuljang with gochujang, you get some sauce, samjang, and that's what they use on grilled meats. Japanese miso, used everywhere and everything, has multiple purposes. It is your go-to all-purpose seasoning. If you get nothing else, Japanese miso. They have white, brown, and red miso. The white miso is the lightest and it's the mildest. Do not cook miso. Do not boil your miso. You will boil all the properties out of it. So if you have a miso soup in a restaurant, it's usually white miso. I keep brown miso because it's a little salty. It's deeper in flavor, and I use it particularly in soups and stews at the end when everything is cooked. I just stir a tablespoon in, and it adds that saltiness and the depth of flavor that I want to add to my soups. It's really, really good in a pot of bean stew. Bean soup and miso just go hand in hand to me. But don't ever cook your miso, just so you know. If you've ever had Peking duck, you've had hoisin sauce. That sweetness of the Peking duck comes from that. Dobuljang, mapo tofu is one of my favorite Chinese dishes, and dobuljang is one of the feature sauces in there. Also, a Chinese tahini is another feature sauce in it. Sesame paste is also a featured in it. Miso you find in ramen broth. Again, miso soup. I think some people in Japan drink miso soup in the morning for gut health. It's really good for that. And sometimes if you're sick and you don't really feel like eating, just get you some water, let it boil, but then let it sit for 5 minutes, and then stir in a little miso and drink it. It's a quick pick me up. So you need to balance your sweet, your sour with your acid. Rice vinegar is one of the lightest vinegars, and it's generally what they use in Asia to add balance, to add that acidity to foods. Um, in some places use yuzu, that adds to it as well. Hoisin, like I say, is very sweet. So you got to balance it out. Some people use mustard, some people use soy sauce. You have to have something to balance that sweetness of the hoisin. Dobuljang is salty. You can tame that by adding some sesame oil. You can tame it by adding some gochujang, or you can still add a little bit of vinegar for acidity. Tahini also will balance out dobuljang. Miso is just a flavor unto itself. I think miso is all-purpose, well-rounded, goes with almost everything. When you need umami, when you need saltiness, when you need complexity, reach for miso. So as we end our presentation, soy sauce adds umami, depthness. Fish sauce adds saltiness. Chili sauce adds your spice. Fermented sauces add that umami and or sweetness and or complexity that you need in your food. It really depends on what you're using it for, which ones you will use, and they mix very well together. As long as they're in your fridge, freaking last forever.
Join us as a guest at our next meeting. We can't wait to meet you.